Move tins, rip dude. Fuck tins, man.
Yeah. For Optimus gang, that's a big one there for them. So just a matter of how they can go
Okay,
against their
who's got the link for the Twitch website where there's no
moving around the map, being that impact
there's no
in every
casters?
single lane. And jungle is the one position that whenever you lose your jungler, it is very difficult to try and find that team synergy again because jungle works with every single
I don't mind
lane
it for these picks and bans,
throughout the
but
game. So
fuck
how
having
well
like
Optimus gang
fuck
really
having them
adapt to
casting.
their jungler.
And so you guys know as well which patch we're on is the current live patch that's on the servers right now.
Smite
So
Ra.
back up to date. We obviously with the lands we kind of fall behind a little bit on the patches. So it's the first time to see competitive play at this level with the latest patch.
But no Ganesh. Ganesh still auto banned,
No, just
unfortunately. I'm excited to see what he can bring to the table whenever he's ready for competitive. But a lot of jungle bans right off the bat, and it's going to be Fafnir the first.
Okay, we'll see if this comes back up soon.
Dominant Fafnir was around Masters. No real changes came to him either recently, so Fafnir's still a quality high-level pick, especially with Kernados and Raven banned away as well.
Yeah, I love
Let's go into picks and bans anyway.
Especially in Europe, as you mentioned, really prioritize.
Fafnir's through. They shouldn't have banned Cernosos, whatever his name is, Ravana.
Maybe not this early.
Ravana also could have been skipped if you've scrimmed against it. Susano Circuit are fairly nice bans. They should have banned the Fafnir though. So they've kind of gone for our approach, early picking the Bologna just gave them the Fafnir. Perhaps they know how to play against Fafnir. Tough, so they need a good jungle clear. That's maybe why they didn't mind the Ravana being banged. I'm not sure who they're going to play jungle, who has pressure though. Maybe Thor, perhaps? Nope, they've taken Thor, so I'm not sure who they're going to play, pressure-wise. So Sanguine have already kind of fucked up, big time, in my eyes.
But they're definitely the top three, and I think Osiris versus Bologna is one of those matchups that can go either way.
Yeah, it's definitely a volatile matchup because both gods are pressure-oriented, and if one, if your jungler comes over and makes a gank early...
I don't think they'll go Bologna jungle. Maybe. I like the Osiris pick really early from them though, because they know they're going to ban it. That's an okay Ra ban. Nemesis is going to have no pressure, so Sanguine have no pressure mid. And Tough needs pressure mid. So, at the minute, Optimus have won the drafting. I'd say they've won it full stop. There's no way that they could screw this up now.
I like this Hu Yi ban coming out from Optimus gang as well. That was the hunter along with Kernados that was really dominant during the
They banned Sakit and Susano.
They want to make sure Sanguine wasn't going to get it with that first selection out of the ban phase.
But Medusa locked him instead. Fantastic wave clear overall. Decent dominance in the lane. Not crazy in terms of the 1v1 potential, but he's going to be able to farm effectively safe and then turn up in the team fights around mid-game.
That's the thing. Team fight.
There's an Isis pick. Isis was the best pick. That's a perfect pick because that's full pressure, full pressure. No pressure, no pressure. So they automatically control the jungle already. Rama, he has lane control with Fafnir. Medusa, it doesn't matter what support they play now. They should lose pressure. So these have no pressure on the map. These have full pressure on the map. Terra, that's the best they could do really. They're going to lose pressure regardless. So you're going to find that these guys should surrender everything on the map, and these should control everything. Do you want me to leave the cam off? It'll be easier to... I guess it'll be easier for you guys to see the map too. So basically at this point in the game, Optimus gang are just going to have the full pressure. And you should see them invade the speed buff. And honestly, Tough and Nemesis can't even contest it, so they just need to try and invade what they can. I wouldn't even know what to advise them right now if I was the coach. Just try and steal what you can off the map and survive until level 5. Then go for a level 5 fight that's even. Go turn the camera. Could someone tell me if Smite Raw comes back on? Okay, so they're starting with a Fafnir middle. They honestly don't need to do that. They didn't need to do that. But it can be okay. I think that's a few suffice that. These guys should be invading speed buff right now. I'm not sure where they're going. It's a free speed buff, they have pressure. Now it gives these guys... Like, these guys are right behind them, and they obviously... I guess that's pretty good. They can still invade it because they got the solo pressure. So that was really smart of them. Death Panther, they're definitely not on the same page. He wanted to take the fire minions. He should be getting pressured harder than this. If you're keeping your supporting lane, he should not be able to get XP here. He should be like scared for his life. They obviously just want to control that side of the map more.
Yes, he's going to get consistently pressured under tower, but Rom is very, very safe, can clear under tower pretty well as well, and so he's just going to get that solo farm.
Sanguine,
I'd like to see Cherio spend this amount of time.
Sanguine are going to get away with how they're playing, just because Optimus gang doesn't know how to capitalize. I see Cherio picking up a Hand of the Gods, which is nice. I feel like that was probably the best active pickup he could get, considering how the game's going. But he didn't need it because of how Optimus gang played it out. They're also getting the gold minions. They're getting so much off this map. It's so good for Sanguine right now. Just because of how Optimus gang don't know how to start. Yo, Christian.
Coming into these mid-game team fights, they can really turn it around and then just give that farm to your Hunter late game.
Now, the biggest thing I've seen to do with Relic so far, especially with the changes that we've had since Masters, is what you can actually see here is that you've got Sunder on the side of Fusify on that Fafnir, and then Cherio going for the Hog. With Meditation being so weak right now, aggro, there's no reason to be going for Meditate. It doesn't work out as well for supports. In the early game, it's great, but as the game goes on, it isn't as effective because you're not going to hit level 20.
Exactly.
You can still pick up Meditate, it's fine. You can also use it for the mana too. I know what they're saying, it isn't as effective early game, but mid and late it's still just as effective.
Really synergizes with this draft that they've gone for. It's all about early aggression. And so if you can really get some early kills with that Sunder...
I'm not too sure, and I'll answer that question after the game. Just trying to concentrate on this for now.
Defensive relic like that.
I'll answer it for you after the game.
Your opposition's just outright dead.
And on top of that, you play Fafnir, who's got a fantastic ability to kill somebody solo, at least a mage. Now with a Sunder in tow, it adds to that extra spike of damage that is going to be available for them if he gets in that 1v1 scenario against Dark Dodo, who could find himself, you know, closed down by a Fafnir there.
Oh, absolutely. Fafnir can definitely solo mid laners, even without Sunder, but with Sunder, without a doubt, if Dark Dodo uses that dash aggressively to try and get a stun in a team fight, all it's going to take is Fusify and maybe the snipes out of Caspanify a little bit to make sure that Dark Dodo will fall, but it's not going to take a whole lot.
There's only stun in the mid lane there, but
they get a nice poke onto the jungler. It's still going to be efficient now.
That for the time being. Both teams just working towards their full boots at the moment. All tier
I like how Sanguine are playing. Sanguine are playing really well. They're defending their own speed now, which is perfect. As I said, they need to hold out, take their own jungle until level 5, and now they're at the level 5 point, so they could probably fight into them. But they have to have a good engage. They can't rush into the fight. They need to know where this Thor is. They have to kill the Thor. They can't go into the team fight not knowing where he is.
Round. He's picked apart and bursted down by the double tap of Dizoni. Now Cherio in trouble too, looking to get away, but Lord of the Afterlife and Dizoni picks up a second kill early on. Optimus.
As I said, just before that fight, they had to know where he was. The whole fight impact was going to be on him. It wasn't going to be on Fafnir. It wasn't going to be on the Isis because she has to be in melee range. It was going to be on how Thor is. So you have to know where he is before you commit to a defense or an offense, of course.
Isis is already in full effect. An easy first blood there, and Cherio just caught out trying to help his teammates, and a good ultimate out of Sibi locks him down in place long enough for Optimus to pick up the double.
Not only that, though, they get the speed and blue buff yet again from Sanguine's jungle, so it's about a 1500 gold lead early on for Optimus gang. I did like that draft coming into this one as well, aggro. I think they really won the picks and bans strategy so far. They're just going to keep playing at this rate.
Gorgonzola in a little bit of trouble, gets walled off beautifully there by the Thor, but not enough early damage without the ultimate.
Does it sound okay like this?
Panther had that ultimate up, that could have been another kill, but Gorgonzola probably passed that way just because he knows that circle of protection is down.
Well, on the right-hand side, though, Sibi's in trouble. The bludgeon from Alexi's good, but it's not enough to get him the kill. Osiris will live for now, and Sibi will be taking a trip back to base, I expect soon, but he's hanging around. Luckily enough, though, he does have Dizoni in tow around the blue buff area in case they look for the all-in.
May as well get those last 2 archers that were still alive.
I can turn it up. I can turn it up from Windows if it was really quiet.
Off Alexi, but Alexi doesn't have his ultimate. He doesn't have any mana. No real easy way for that Bellona to close the gap and make that kill happen.
Well, over in this duo lane right now, playing the Rama. He's duo lane partner, Fusified. 2 Russians. We don't have many Russians in the Pro League now. These 2 will be the first 2, I believe, over in Europe to enter if they can make it through these relegations.
And you can tell that they're, you know, similar because of the Phis. Yeah, the Phi duo lane.
Exactly.
They make it nice and easy for us.
You've got like, you know, you've seen the likes of Elevate, where they used to be called the Bruise Brothers in the duo lane, you know, with the 2 Frenchies. Now we've got 2 Russians here. We're going to have to work out what to call them as time goes on.
Yeah, they got to have like a cute little like couple
They've got to have something.
I mean? Yeah. We'll come up with something. We're clever people here.
No, we're not.
They don't have to know that though, Hindu. We can just tell them that we're clever.
I'm just more honest. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't lie. I just speak truths.
Oh, is that so?
Speak truths. Like you suck.
In the mid lane, Death Panther 2v3'd right now with Fusify, but definitely just going to play this passively until Zoni shows up and immediately Gorgonzola pays for it.
Love the silence coming out from Death Panther 2 onto Cherio to stop Cherio from dashing away. And that sets up a second kill that Fusify will pick up for himself as well. And now the trio from the mid lane of the jungle.
I did say they need to take the fights so carefully. They have to know where Thor is at all times, and they have to fight evenly with that comp, or they have to fight late game. There's no way they can fight now with like Toph being out pressured every single wave.
And another AoE coerce available between Caspanify rotating over. Yeah, you have to worry about boss coming in with Petrify, but
or even another tactic would be to fight mid game with the Rammer and get someone low, and then just disengage and let the Rammer snipes finish him off, and just take that one pick. It's the only way they can get back into it. It's the only way the Optimus gang could have played if they were behind, but like literally with this pressure and full lead because Sanguine failed at that one team fight, it's ultimately it's their game to throw, and I cannot see them throwing with the safety of Fafnir. He is the most safe Guardian pick. Isis, sure, when she's behind she sucks, but when she's ahead with Aegis, when she's 12 with Aegis, it's going to be impossible for her to die.
Right now, just trying to get some farm for themselves. Only 8 minutes in, they're quite considerably behind.
So when we were talking about this Nemesis pick during picks and bans, I liked it when just assuming that it was going to be able to get at least 1 speed buff for himself.
Sure.
But that really hasn't been the case thus far, and that's good recognition by Optimus Gang that this Nemesis could get out of control very easily. It's a very easy way to stop an early game composition, to have a mid to late game character like Nemesis start to control the game early on. So instead, Optimus Gang focus their attention to Gorgonzola and make sure he's not able to have an impact in these early stages.
And that's what we expected from Toph and Nemesis.
Oh yeah, just realized there's no in-game sound.
And that's what Optimus Gang have really abused in the early stages is invade, pressure the buffs, make sure Nemesis.
Yeah, the only way Sanguine can win now is off an FG fight, or maybe a Gulf Fury fight. If Optimus wastes an ultimate such as Isis ult on the Gulf Fury, they should take that fight. They shouldn't be rushing Gulf Fury like this. It's asking for disaster. Oh, they lost the Gulf Fury.
Not sure if it was Fusify.
This game's over now.
But there's the Lord of the Afterlife from Sibi trying to chase down onto Bars. Instead, it's Cherio that's going to be the wounded target that's running for his life as Thor comes in. Dizoni will claim a 3rd life this game.
Caspanify.
They should not have rushed that Gulf Fury. They had to do what I said. They either had to wait for the Gulf Fury fight to happen the opposite way. As soon as they see the Isis ult, all in. Terra ult, and just fucking all in the fight. There's no way they can win it like that.
Gets himself back to safety as Gorgonzola goes in Death Panthers, trying to keep him honest, but still no ability for Sanguine to find a kill.
Sanguine just has to drop that Gold Fury in that instance. I mean, Caspanify's up in the sky. Usually those ROM sites just end up helping you out on the Gold Fury, because as soon as you get hit by the first one, you just reset the Gold Fury back up and then wait for him to fall out of the sky. I guess Sanguine knew that they had limited time and they didn't want to wait until Caspanify's ultimate went down. But without, I mean, I don't know if Final Judgment was used there to try and secure it. Either way, it's just way too risky to try and get that Gold Fury in that scenario when you're already down. As I was mentioning, this lead for Optimus Gang wasn't horribly big at that stage, and Sanguine was still had that late game potential. But after that Gold Fury loss, that makes that job that much harder. Look at that hard spike up for Optimus Gang, continuing to push that lead that Sanguine just kind of gifted to them.
Well, Optimus Gang now trying to pressure around the Portal Demon, not because the Portal Demon they want to take, they actually want the speed buff for another time. Sanguine not even in position to defend this, only Cherio really here, but he does have that hog available. I'm not sure if he's off cooldown right now. We'll find out as the buff does go to Cherio there, I believe he did.
Yeah, it's true, Half-Level. They did have Hand of the Gods. They should have had the Gull Fury, but they would have lost the team fight afterwards regardless. So I feel like they should go for stealing the Gull Fury option more. That's just my opinion. Yeah, they just weren't gonna come out positive on that rush unless it was a clean rush, which it definitely isn't when you don't have wards on the map.
This gang may look to pressure mid a little bit harder.
Death Panther eats a lot of damage, but again,
Good
it's
wall.
Gorgonzola walled off. Double dash gets him around it nicely. Sibby is here, but instead, Optimus Gang just going to focus down the tower.
Yeah, especially with that Fafnir on the front line, though. That Coerce is doing damage for Kaspanify to just keep ripping through. Dazoni in the sky, trying to force Sanguine back. We'll look towards Cherio for a second. Changing his mind, however, we'll go to the right-hand side, continue farming. I think that's a good call.
And going for that blue buff. Again, just focusing on the invades thus far. Good.
Perfect call by Optimus Gang. They're playing it slow because they know they're just going to be able to bleed them out. Once they get such a lead, they could just fire Giant Fight at the Portal Demon, and then it's just the snowball begins. The next Gull Fury is going to be theirs, completely free now, because Sanguine gifted them the Gull Fury and just gave them the whole jungle, so they're just going to have such a natural lead.
Gauntlet to give themselves a shot, and coming up against Optimus Gang, it's looking like it's business as usual for Sanguine right now. They're down and they're losing.
I mean, this is a very execution-oriented composition that just isn't coming on quite yet. Now, Sanguine still has hopes in the late game because their late game is infinitely better than that of Optimus Gang. I mean, leaps and bounds ahead of what Optimus Gang's going to be able to do, but the problem is they have to get there.
Hold out.
Optimus Gang is looking like they might not allow Sanguine to reach those late game stages. Doing a good job of strangleholding them thus far, at least in that jungle. Now, Dark Dodo's done a nice job of keeping pace with Death Panther in terms of levels. He's sitting at level 11, exactly where Death Panther is, and that's not easy to do when you're falling this far behind everywhere in your jungle. So there is still hope for Sanguine, and it's really riding on that of Gorgonzola and Dark Dodo.
And Optimus Gang showed what they were going to try and do with pressure in that mid tower, trying to continue this lead on a little bit more. But since then, they've fallen back.
I think the next main fight you're going to see is either a bait of Fire Giant or a bait of Gull Fury, because they're playing so cleanly right now, Optimus Gang. They're going to be your two fights.
There, looks like he completed Travelers, then went for the Lono's Mask, and it looks like he may have completed it already. So a little bit of a different style between the two supports, and clearly Fusify's ahead, not only because his team is ahead,
yes,
but because he has the Traveler shoes, and he's Fafnir.
And
he just gets way more
I was wondering
gold.
if you can remember that last bit of, like, he's Fafnir as well, so he gets all that bonus gold for just being around things that die. It's even better for him to have a Lono's Mask.
How could I forget? Fafnir's like top farm in every game at this point. I mean, it's just ridiculous how much farm he
A
gets.
little bit deep from Dazoni if he really wants to go for this. They're looking for the speed buff invade, but gonna collapse onto Gorgonzola.
That was a nice bait, but he's in such a shit position now.
Actually ends up hitting Dazoni. Dazoni's in a bit of trouble.
They could lose this fight now.
Can really fully collapse, but there goes Alexian onto Dazoni as well. The beads come out and Dazoni will escape. Final judgment.
What was that top ult?
Anything there. Dodo was just too far away.
That was such a rush top ult.
Used by Sanguine, and
Optimus Gang is so lucky. They made such a bad play then.
And Death Panther uses Circle of Protection defensively, and the end. That's basically all Sanguine got out of all 5 ultimates there. Win for Optimus, and they're going to look immediately for the Portal Demon because they know Sanguine can't afford to try and contest it.
They fucked up. Sanguine fucked up, man. But they kept the ISIS off the portal, so it was a free defense on Gull Fury.
To make sure that nothing's going to happen there. That Optimus Gang can't defend. Gorgonzola again stunned out. Nice juke there by Death Panther to get out of the way of those 2 crushing stones, avoiding the stun and putting a little bit of extra poke onto Gorgonzola.
There's only a little bit too far forward here, but he's trying to keep them busy so his team could look towards that Gull Fury. Sibby collapsing onto Cherio for a second, and Sibby on that Osiris trying to make sure nobody can really get in here. Only Dark Dodo.
This is a free Gull Fury.
Judgment available, but he won't get a chance to fire as Gull Fury goes to Optimus Gang.
6k lead. 6.5k lead.
Seem to be ready to respond to whatever Optimus Gang is doing.
It's a new team, though. That's the way I'm looking at it.
It is a new team, but it's also a new team for Optimus Gang. I mean, they lost their jungler Gorgonzola, who's on Sanguine's side. now. I mean, I don't know. Death Panther new in the mid lane as well. Optimus Gang seems very, very well organized. They're working together well as a unit.
Yep, full pressure.
The same about Sanguine right now, and a lot of these times, just to me, it looks like Optimus Gang looks much more like a team than Sanguine does. And whenever you're working as a team with a composition like this, it's very difficult to fight.
That's
you're just
oh, they lost the tower for it though. They lost the tower for one ultimate middle. That was a good beads. He knows he can't get poked out.
And now they're coming mid, Dizoni in the sky, looking for bars potentially, or will it be Cherry again?
It's gonna be the mid laner Dark Dodo, but immediately Zoni stunned out and punished. Boss puts Sanguine on the board.
This is the turning point now.
Walls will collapse and pick up a second kill for Sanguine. Fusify stunned in place as the bludgeon comes down, but just misses from Alexi. Tanking the tower now is Sanguine with the sustain.
What I like here is Sanguine is noticing that the Thor is just dunking down on repeat and always spinning. If he dunked down into insta hammer to get out to force the beads, that would be perfect. But he's staying. They recognize that he's staying to deal the damage, so it's just a free kill every time.
That was a mistake there from Thor to go crashing in without any purification beats that deep into the enemy backline, and all of a sudden Sanguine just has all the momentum. Whenever you're losing a major part of that CC and damage on the side of Optimus Gang, very difficult to turn that fight in your favor, even with some.
Yeah, I feel like they shouldn't have taken the fight because they just got a free tower. You know, 500 gold and 500 XP is no joke. You know, especially when you're getting you're picking objective by objective. Took the portal, you've took the gold, you take a tower. You know you've got the Nemesis beads. So either force the fight on the Nemesis or the pick, or just wait. It's literally all they need to do. Just wait for the ultimate to come back up on Osiris, make sure they're all healthy, and just go siege mid tower. Because mid tower was already poked to half HP too.
2 members off there from Sanguine. Death Panther is going to be able to get out just okay. Love that play there from Fusify though, with Optimus Gang posturing to siege down that middle tower. Him stopping Boss's back and making it so it would take him longer to get back to defend that. Really, really smart play. Unfortunately, Alexi's there with that teleport to stop that siege from Optimus Gang, but heads up play from Fusify to try and make that a longer power play for his team.
Well, the thing Sanguine realized though is that once they did find that pick in the mid lane and won that little team fight engagement, they get the tier 1 tower and it's back to farming and playing safe again. They're still not in a position where they can just take fights straight on and keep going deep into the enemy jungle. They've got to try and find picks. Alexi though, may get picked in the mid lane there. A lot of pressure onto him early. Nice little damage out of Sibi as well, who's going to make sure.
What's really good from here, from OG, is they recognize the mid tower is poked, finally, and now they're grouping to have this fight. They've got a 5.1k lead, so they're taking this now. It's a free tower.
As of late, should be Death Panther just looking to poke out Alexi consistently.
Alexi has been pushed back, but Sibi's taking a lot of the damage there. The tower falls down, Petrify out, but he didn't hit anyone. Fusify avoided most of that by turning into a dragon.
That was a bad defense by Sanguine. They should have looked to kill one guy and then full disengage. There's no way they can win a fight versus the Ices with 2 actives at this point. So the best thing they can do is try and poke just for the tower, just try and kill one guy, because they can't defend a tier 1 no matter what.
It's not a good spot to be in by any stretch, but this game is not over. Sanguine has a composition that can deal with a 6k gold deficit. They just have to hit their skills, and they have to be impactful. You cannot afford to be missing ultimates like that in these big team fights. Now, in that one right there, not a big deal. That fight was over and done with. Boss and Dark Dodo are going to be able to get both their ultimates up before the next engagement happens. But when that next engagement happens, they have to be more accurate.
Look towards the builds again. Death Panther.
I really hope Sanguine don't try and defend this PK, because they can't. They can't kill Fafnir, and they can't kill anyone else. All their actives are up, so don't waste your time, please.
It's only that Gauntlet of Thieves passive that everyone is getting, so there's not a whole lot of match.
My alternative play would be to split push this tower, because it's worth basically the same as the PK.
Get good effectiveness out of that Spear of the Magus.
Well, Dark Dodo has the highest player damage right now. Spirit Ball hits Gorgonzola. He can't get away. Gorgonzola's beads are down. He's still alive for now, but Dizoni may change that in an instant. The stun hits and picks up 1. Walls from Cherio will slow them down. Eagle's Relic defensively used, but the boys of Optimus Gang aren't slowing down.
Boss in a lot of trouble, but he's going to be able to escape courtesy of the Aegis. Alexi's 1 HP as well. Caspadify already used the snipe, so those members are going to be able to get back to base, but they may have to deal with a Fire Giant Optimus gang if that's what they want to go for.
Speed buff stolen, given to Dizoni again. Round the back, he gets the wall on Dodo, but it's not going to trap him in place. The rest of his team are going to pick up the Portal Demon, though, as Fusify and Dizoni continue to keep them at bay.
Okay, so instead of giving them the PK, you've gave them the PK, the kill. You've not got the potential tower you could have got. And also, your way back into the game was for them to start FGE and just fight them there. Don't fight them at a PK. That's a ranked play. It's not going to happen in a competitive scene.
Hand of the gods.
That's true, but it's not a lot of damage. I mean, we're talking 480 basically on these objectives, and even Spirit Ball is doing more than that. So you can really zone him out fairly effectively. But because this Gold Fury's up, this is just Optimus gang. Instead of taking the riskier call, just
now the Gold Fury's gone. It's impossible for them to fight against this now.
As they can't contest that Gold Fury whatsoever, so Optimus gang continue to extend their gold lead a little bit more now. That portal may have just ended, unfortunately, otherwise we could have seen Optimus gang immediately go towards this Fire Giant straight away. Actually, no, the portal's still up for a few more seconds. That was quick. 45 seconds to get Portal Demon and the Gold.
I think they can still defend. They have to have a fight at Fire or a Tier 2. It's literally the only two places on the map they can fight.
Just gets his beads up in time, but he's got trouble lurking around the backside.
Yeah, they're all waiting for him there. Lord of the Afterlife used, didn't stun at the same time. Petrify hits one, as does the Eagles rally, but Caspadify is fine enough as the Spirit Ball comes out from Panther. The heal was good, but the stun's better from Cherio. That's going to force Panther's beads, and Alexi still trying to go in on him, forcing Fusify back as well. The stun from Cherio hits Sibby, and Sibby will deliver the first one down. Sanguine could get a power play here.
They're looking for it, 5v4, trying to chase Optimus gang down, but not a lot of mobility quite yet. Dark Dodo has the dash available, but misses the stun.
So that is just like proving me wrong. They've gone all in with a Tyrell on top of this team fight, and now they can take it as long as they shut down his Thor.
Dodo 4-man stun, one double tap, and that'll be the end of Sanguine advancing down the solo lane.
Wow, I'm surprised Thor wasn't able to do a little bit.
So they got too excited, they dove people in the tower, didn't think about the backline, and now they could have got a tower, they could have potentially got the FG. I don't think they could have though, because Thor had his ult too.
Sanguine would know he was looking for it, but instead just looking to put out a couple more autos, but now he's in trouble. His boss was waiting for him. The acid spray is enough, courtesy of the Bluestone.
Both teams have like got the full aggro momentum, and this is where it's in Sanguine's favor right now. They need this momentum. They don't want Optimus gang to be playing with clear heads, because they could just take the game with this snowball right now if they play wise.
Exactly, and going back to what I was saying earlier about how they look like the team that is more well organized, working better as a unit, that was the first time that we've seen them not look like a unit, where it's Zoni trying to wall off Gorgonzola with Death Panther, and then the wrap around the back, not a lot of communication that Petrify.
So OG need to have like a team fight around the FG now. There's no way that they can do it without.
Optimus gang an area to fight, but Caspadify gets out of the heal before it gets popped.
I guess they could actually. OG can have a fight anywhere on the map. That's where Sanguine need the team fight for sure.
And get a couple kills. Now they do lose some on their own for it. The Thor rotation was beautiful there by Zoni, but overall Optimus gang definitely could have come out more on top there instead of just slightly on top.
Well, right now I'm looking towards Bass from Sanguine on that Medusa. Level 19 right now, the highest level. Keeping on the solo lane, it's actually a lot further behind than the Hunters that you normally expect. But neither of them gone for a crit build here, mainly Pen and Chins, as you've started to see and seen the majority of the season so far. But Baz 4-0-1, second on the player damage as well. His Petrifies have made impacts in these fights. His damage output has been good along with his positioning.
Without a doubt, he's been the shining light thus far for Sanguine, and looks like they want to stop Optimus gang from doing this Fire Giant and do so nicely. Good poke coming out of Dark Dodo. This is where Thoth can really be impactful in these long range. There's no chance for you to touch him, but he can touch you with that long range hieroglyphic assault. This is where Dark Dodo needs to make some hay in this situation for Sanguine.
There's been a lot of talk about whether the meta's started to switch towards a more poke-orientated meta now, and if that is the case, that poke there from Dizoni is pretty good. The difference is that Terra is on one of these teams, so the sustain will come through. Caspadify from downtown will take out the sustain from Cherio.
Huge turn for Optimus gang. They get the pick on a Cherio. Zoni really deep there. Immediately recognizes his mistake. but great play out of Thor to get the beads out from Dark Dodo in the mid lane.
Okay,
While
so
Optimus Gang is fighting on the right-hand side, Chariot is caught in the wrong spot.
Optimus Gang got the perfect pick onto the Terror, managed the sniper, and now it's a free FG bait. Like they have to defend this. If they give them the FG, it's over.
But Dodo explodes Sibby with the ultimate coming through too. Zoni gets Alexi in trade as Gorgonzola turns his attention to Panther, but as soon as the Aegis comes through, Gorgon's the one in trouble.
The wall should be coming up soon for Zoni, but that Spirit Ball not going to hit in time. Hispanify not able to do that Fire Giant, in fact decides to back, and that's the one weakness of this build that Hispanify has gone for, is he doesn't have a ton of Fire Giant damage. Yes, his Tower Shred is good, but the Fire Giant really isn't, and he doesn't have any lifesteal either, so there's no way for him to stick on that objective while everyone else is going in.
2 in a row, buddy. Fusify's really got your number right now. Don't back in front of him again. Fusify's going to get you with a hammer. And there you go. He's been forced back one more time. But you also saw Cherio use the ultimate out of Terror there to try and get the team in a better position. But a miscommunication because it wasn't used well. Gorgonzola, though, is now out of position. He's got a bit of support in the background from Dodo, but there's not a whole lot Dodo can do about this.
This Spirit Ball misses after the stun does, but it doesn't matter because
That's an unnecessary pick. This guy needs to go back, regen, and what can he do? Oh, he doesn't even need to now. He could back, TP in, and bait the Fire Giant. You have 5 people healthy. You have 3 ultimates. You just need to wait for the Isis ult to secure the FG, and there's no way the other team can contest, and boom, you won the game. So we'll see what happens.
Optimus Gang, the Portal Demon going their way as well. Technically means now the Fire Giant dance will continue a little bit longer. Sanguine still not out of it yet. One team fight will change this game on its head, especially with the Fire Giant being available and the response time starting to increase.
But Death Panther will have that circle of protection soon. It's going to be difficult for Sanguine to steal away the Fire Giant. Dark Dodo has some opportunity. I mean, Final Judgment's going to do over 1,000 damage at this stage, but as long as Death Panther times it right, this should go off.
Focus on Cherio, fully invaded onto him, trying to get all the pressure off. Cherio's still alive, though. Dazoni gets it because Spotify's been left 1v1 against Alexi. Cancel that, Dazoni to the rescue.
That's big peel coming out of the Thor. Sibby finds Boss on the front side. Gorgonzola's going to answer back onto Fusify, but it's for one right.
Perfect peel. But when you hear a guy saying he's peeling, you should be very cautious of diving up, especially with the Nemesis respawning. You knew the Nemesis respawn.
Fire Giant here, he's had to hang around. Got to be very careful of Dark Dodo. With one hit, he could potentially spell the end of Panther as the Aegis is forced on Dodo.
A little bit of a panic there out of Dark Dodo after Zoni went for the hot play with the hammer wall-off combination, but just wasn't in range. Fire Giants is started up here by Optimus Gang because Betafy has completed that Fatalis, a little bit more of a late-game item now, gives him a ton of attack speed.
Sibby on zone duty, gonna get the tether down just to keep Dodo further back, but they've got Fire Giants getting low. Sibby could look to get in trouble there, but no, he'll get away. The Fire Giant goes the way of Optimus Gang as well.
Close.
That FG got just left alone for way too long, considering how poked they were. They should have just walked in, especially with the Terror ult coming up, and that should have been called.
To translate for Optimus Gang, still in the lead against the late game style of composition from Sanguine, even 28 minutes in.
It's already worrying for Sanguine now, though, because you already get 3 games in the group stage here to try and get yourself in. You want 2 wins because that should pretty much guarantee you back into the Pro League, but you lose your first game against, you know, one of the Challenger Cup teams. Then you're sweating a little bit. The performances and results end up going your way elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. You're definitely... The first game is very important, these relegation sort of styles, but what we usually talk about in these relegations is the games against the SPL teams are very, very important. If you can find a win against your other SPL team that's trying to defend, you're already ahead.
Safe.
Yeah, you're already ahead because you're assumed to beat at least another Challenger Cup team. But Sanguine has really cut their own work out for themselves. If they lose this game against Optimus Gang, they have to find those victories against Nova Zorsa and the other Challenger Cup team. And
these towers will not take
this tier 2 should not be defended by Sanguine. If they defend this tier 2, they've lost.
There's no real siege from Sanguine coming out. They're actually looking for a pick themselves. Optimus on Cherio, and Cherio's already dead. 4v5.
Now they've lost the Phoenix.
Has not had a good game thus far. 1-6-4. He's been focused out pretty heavily, I would say, by Optimus Gang, but I don't know how much of that is Optimus Gang deciding to dump everything into a support and how much of it is Cherry just being at the wrong place.
And now they don't even need minions to take down these towers anymore with this roster and the Fire Giants on their side as well. They'll get another speed buff for themselves. I'm pretty sure he's had 1 speed buff all game, Gorgonzola.
And that was stolen by Cherry. So in those terms, Cherry's had a solid game because he's gotten Gorgonzola a speed buff, and really that's all anyone cares about when they're on their team, is getting their own buffs.
The correction for me, though, for Sanguine, after looking at this game one, is picks and bans, because you can't give up a roster like that where it's all early pressure across every lane in favor of Optimus Gang, and then expect to just weather the storm enough to come back into it. They had one opportunity where they won one team fight.
Only way for Sanguine to have a chance now is to drop the Phoenixes. You are not going to be able to fight. Try and trade these tier 2s for the Phoenixes and fight under your Titan. Go for the big damage dealers with the biggest pen. So you need to go for Rammet, Isis, and Thor. But at this point, it's fucking impossible. They've lost no matter what they do now. That's the sad thing about when it snowballs to this lead.
That you expect out of a 30-minute.
But they need to be pushing the right lane all the way up. They can't defend. It's undefendable, especially with Fafnir's support.
Right now. No, he's doing fine, but he's not the, your first pick thought.
Maybe to ult defensively there, as he did go a little bit too deep. No minions on his side. Wait for the next minion wave first, because Spanify will go in to get a few extra autos off onto that Phoenix. The Fire Giant buff won't remain too much longer, but they're still trying to make sure they can pick Cherio again.
About 50 seconds left on that. Sibby gonna take a lot of damage from that final judgment. Circle of Protection's good for the moment, but Boss finds the first kill of the engagement.
Great defense from Sanguine so far. The Phoenix still stands as Spanify and the minion wave comes in. Dizoni will make sure there's room to get that Phoenix down, and Optimus Gang look to fall back slowly. Dizoni, the last one to exit there, because Spanify is going to get hit by the walls, but there's no follow-up from Sanguine to try and punish him for getting too far forward.
Optimus Gang is going to take that trade every day of the week. One member for the middle Phoenix, definitely worth it for the Challenger Cup team. And they're losing their solo laner who has teleport available, and you've got Portal Demon, so he doesn't even have to use his teleport. Yep. He's going to be able to get right back into this engagement without much issue. Good play there.
That defense actually shocked me. They held it a lot better, but I feel like it was Sibby's fault that it was that close. It should not have ever been that close. No, he walked in on his own into the tower versus a Nemesis on his own. Like, I can't describe like why he went on his own. I don't know. But that should have been a lot more cleaner. Should have been a free tower. It should have been all 3 towers free, honestly.
With that ultimate, but not the backliners. It's just difficult because Sibby's only level 17.
Cherry, no. He's going to go down again here. I don't think he'll escape whatsoever. Dizoni gets himself another kill. Spanify with the assist there as well. And now it's coming towards the end because they can just start pushing down the right-hand side with a 4v5 or even go back towards the Fire Giant again. One thing from that play, though, from Optimus in the mid lane that we were talking about, that pickup of the 4-for-1, Sibby's going to be a little bit careful with his ultimate usage, because he uses his ult to disengage and then went straight back in. You do that against pro-level teams, you're going to have a bad time. And that's me telling you, Sanguine are not a pro-level team with the way they're playing right now.
Not yet, but they've got an opportunity later on today, or maybe potentially turning it around here against Optimus Gang, though that's looking less likely by the moment.
I've seen worse throws, but I don't see this one being a throw right now. I think Death Panther in the mid lane has had a fantastic game as well. For someone who played support in the last split and has played solo lane previously, coming into mid lane and go, I'll pick up Isis and my silences are going to be on point every single time, can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, Isis can be a solo laner's nightmare because it's very difficult to get around how much CC she has. So something the Death Panther may have dealt with quite a bit. Can kind of put it into his own repertoire exactly as Fire Giant goes down, the second one of the game for Optimus Gang, who have looked fairly clean. A couple small mistakes, a couple small missteps, but most of their deaths have been in exchange for objectives, been in exchange for map pressure or trades in their favor. So even though they've died 8 times, it has been a fairly clean game from them.
And with Cherio dying 7 times here, this is because of the composition the Sanguine run here. Optimus Gang recognize all the CC is going to come out of Terror. The rest have to use ultimates or even reposition tools to get some extra CCF. What's Nemesis going to do?
Yeah, not
Nothing.
A whole lot.
What's Dodo going to do? Dash and stun? Well, we'll pick him apart if he does that. Alexi can ult. Medusa can ult. But if Cherio's the one with the CC, kill the guy with the CC first. It makes it easier.
And most of it is close range CC as well. That range stun isn't super long range. It does have a little bit to it, but as far as the route goes, Cherio has to be literally on top of you in order to find that route. So good recognition from Optimus Gang, and who's punished Cherio pretty frequently here in this game.
Cheeky attempted a pick in the mid lane via Optimus Gang there, but it was just so Sibby could push in the duo lane right now, bring the minions with them, and allow them to remove the backdoor protections. With the Fire Giant buff, this shouldn't take too long at the Phoenix, but hopefully Optimus Gang don't make the mistake they did last time round.
Sibby in that front line once more, but hasn't used his ultimate aggressively this time, because Spanify with that coerce buff is going to be difficult to corral for Sanguine. Alexi could try and get to that backline, but I'm not sure. Yeah, Alexi's still only level 19 because Painify's full build.
Following along Spotify now, he's just focused fully on that Phoenix, doesn't care about Cherio dashing in towards him. Dazoni, though, may have to help him out a little bit now as Gorgonzola went in. He catches Cherio and Alexi, and the focus is once again onto Cherio, who will not get away from this one whatsoever, because Spanify will clean up one kill as Alexi goes to the back and make sure at least Sibby dies.
Spanify still alive, though. That Bloodforge shield coming up big as Zoni finds the second kill in this engagement. All three Phoenixes now down. Cancel that. Riddle one respawns and is now
Yeah, there's just nothing they could do.
Where did Gorgonzola just go?
Being this behind and having to Phoenix fights is so awkward.
They're looking to end now with the coerce coming up from Fusify. The poke damage on Dodo was insane. Dazoni gets credit for the kill because Spanify picks up.
That was an okay game. That was pretty clean. Pretty clean by Optimus. They made, I'd say, about 2 or 3 major mistakes that could have cost them the game, but Sanguine were just all on different pages, so they were unable to like take anything back, which Sanguine should have done. They honestly should have, but they didn't. So rip worlds for Sanguine. I can't see them winning a game if they play on like no pressure again. It's going to be impossible.